Hi, friends, and welcome back to the Astro Report for the week. Today, we're going to be looking at the Sagittarius Full Moon that takes place on September 23rd at about 3 degrees of the sign. And anytime there's a full moon, we know that the sun opposes the moon. So currently, or at the time of the transit, the sun is going to be located in the sign of Gemini that opposes Sagittarius. And the ruler of the full moon is Jupiter, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, where the moon is located. And at the time of the transit, Jupiter will be conjunct Venus in the sign of Taurus at 29 degrees. And it's also important to mention that Venus is at home in the sign of Taurus. So you might remember that when two planets come together in a sign, it's called a conjunction. And you may also remember that the 29th degree is very special because it's the final degree of any sign when we're using the whole sign house system. So these planets are said to be at the anaretic degree. And there are a few details that I want to share with you about this combination of the planets and rulerships, but for context, it's also important to mention that Jupiter and Venus are known as the benefic planets, meaning they bring good fortune and harmony, and they both appear as big, bright stars and are overall seen as happy-go-lucky. Jupiter can also be a mentor, a teacher, or a leader, especially in terms of education or philosophical endeavors. And Jupiter is also known as Zeus, the king of the gods that presides over the sky, a figure of leadership, power, and law. Venus represents love, but also sisters and other women, and is known as Aphrodite, and is therefore associated with beauty and aesthetics. With Taurus as the yin earth domicile of Venus, the ruler of this full moon, Jupiter is being hosted by the goddess in her domain. That's Venus in Taurus. Just before Jupiter moves into his detriment in the sign of Gemini. Now, I know that it might not sound like great things are on the horizon after you hear that last statement, but I would like to add that Jupiter in detriment is still pretty awesome, because that's how benefic the planet is. Now, back to the current transit, Venus and Jupiter will also be sextiling Neptune and Pisces, which will also be at the 29th degree. Sextiles are of the nature of Venus, so all the ways that I describe Venus being beauty, love, harmony, sisterhood, can be said about an opportunity that connects Taurus and Pisces houses in a chart. So this kind of has that too good to be true energy, like fairy tales and impossibilities. It really can be this exciting. And it could certainly also mean being intoxicated to the point of experiencing illusions. So go slow on the bubbly. Remember to keep in mind that with any full moon, we are pruning away the parts of our lives that no longer feel right. This might be the time for processing big emotions around themes like personal freedom and being constricted. I hear the song, "I Want to Break Free" by Queen playing in my head. In fact, it's perfect because breaking free in the name of love is not far from the feeling we might be having around this time. I want to be free to express myself, to move forward with what feels good in my body, to experience joy and pleasure. We'll likely be feeling a bit more energetic on this day, as Sagittarius is a fire sign and is known for being jovial and grandiose. Venus and Jupiter move into a conjunction with each other every year, but it isn't always at the same time that Jupiter rules the full moon. And that's significant and really points to the big let go that is needed before the expansion occurs. Last year, the pair came together on March 1st in the sign of Aries. You can think back to that day or look in your journal and see what you may have started up during that time, because Aries is potent initiatory energy, especially when it's combined with Jupiter and that big, expansive, grandiose energy. You can look up in your albums of photos and videos to see what you were up to and see how some of those themes could be coming back around. Overall, this looks like an auspicious full moon, especially if we are releasing ideologies that hold us down. We should feel free to explore after this transit, and with all the planets moving into Gemini next, it feels like the perfect breakaway for things to get really interesting.